watched 2 shows.
We did.
One with a potential match of the year.
Yeah.
The other with a potential match of the cup.
Oh, I like the way you put that. Welcome to the midweek wrap up, everybody. We're ending episode 159.
Hallelujah.
On a high note, because NXT and Lucha Underground, they deliver. That's what they do.
It's like the Postal Service.
They deliver?
Yeah.
Gotcha. NXT, we kicked off with the Velveteen Dream taking on Hobo Loon. Velveteen Dream looking to take out another former Cruiserweight Classic star.
Little did we know, the Velveteen Dream was like... dropped a bunch of weight right before the Cruiserweight Classic, but they didn't let him in. And so now this is him exacting his revenge. Is he's going to just eliminate every person. He's starting from all the people that got eliminated in the first round and the second round. And then eventually it's going to like lead up to like him going to the main roster and beating up like TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick.
There
and
you
shit.
go. Velveteen Dream. We found out is only 21 years old.
So he says. I'm actually going to fact check.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Because I had a hard time believing that, but you know.
Boy, has he just...
But then like Noah Dar is only a couple years older than that.
True. So. But I mean, he has gotten so into that gimmick. That is... Man, he is loving the gimmick. He sticks to it. It's great. Him and Ho-Ho had a great match. Ho-Ho Loon's getting better.
Yeah.
He's a lot more fun to watch than he was initially, his first run of the Cruiserweight Classic. But they are pushing the Velveteen Dream, and so, of course, in the end, he hit the Purple Rainmaker. I'm sure there's some people out there that don't like that name, but that's what he's calling it. And the Velveteen Dream picks up another win on NXT.
August 19th of 1995.
That he is almost 22. He'll be 22 in like a month and 2 weeks-ish. We also got a little precursor to our main event as Asuka made her way to the building. There was a cameraman in there trying to ask her a few questions prior to the title match. But the car was stopped due to Nikki Cross jumping on the hood. And then Nikki slamming herself against the door, opening and closing the door, and then security trying to pull her away as Asuka just kind of like stared her down. And so, yeah, needless to say, tensions are a little high for our last woman standing match.
Yeah.
Speaking of title matches, we found out that the Authors of Pain in 2 weeks will defend their tag team titles against Heavy Machinery. And we're also gearing up for next week when Bobby Roode defends the NXT Championship against Roderick Strong. And we had that build-up we had a little video package for that championship match next week in between 2 different matches between Hideo Itami and Oni Lorcan.
Yeah, one lasted all of 6 moves.
Yeah, because Oni is a psycho and nearly, most likely, broke Hideo's nose.
He tried to European uppercut Hideo's nose off of his face.
He nearly succeeded. And so, the referees had to stop it. They had to try to get like, Oni was pissed off. He was not happy about it. Hideo didn't look very happy about it either. Of course, I wouldn't be happy if my nose was broken either. And so, they kind of storm away. We do the whole video package. And then Hideo just storms back down to the ring, just yells for Oni to get back out there. The match happens once again. And they continue to kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
They did not let up. It was super intense. I was waiting for Hideo's nose to just completely explode. But Hideo did have...
I think they did a really good job of actually avoiding hitting him in the face this go around.
Yeah, there was a lot more shots to the abdomen and a lot more shots to the back and stuff like that. And we had Hideo, again, attack that knee that he did a few weeks ago when Cassius ended up getting up in his face and whatnot. And that kind of ended up being Oni's downfall, is that Oni was not only hurting, but was adamant about the match continuing.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to let the match again be stopped because he knows that no one came to see that. He doesn't want to be the one to have his match stopped again. So, in kind of a prideful moment, he's like, no, don't stop the match. Don't stop it. It's fine. He even kind of like shoves Hideo away, who I don't know if Hideo was trying to help him or what the situation was, but with the knee injury, he was kind of easy pickings and was hit with a GTS. Hideo Itami picks up the win and then calls out Cassius Ohno, who makes it down to the ring just in time to have Nikki Cross just start yelling at them for no reason. They're like, what is happening? And then we find out what's happening is that Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane begin a complete demolishing of Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno.
Yeah.
And so it seems that Sanity is gearing up for something big.
Oh, yeah.
Because Alexander Wolf cut, I think, his first promo since Sanity's debuted. Talks about how Eric Young is formulating his master plan, and he's excited for it to happen, and that he called it his masterpiece, and that the first note would be played by Nikki Cross, saying that if she were to
calling Eric Young their maestro.
Yeah, the maestro. So they're building something big for Sanity. I'm excited to see.
I can almost guarantee you what it's going to be.
What do you think?
Well, I do remember a particular Paul Ellering calling them out during that promo when he mentioned all the other teams.
Yeah.
Sanity was one of those teams that he called out. So I think potentially they're going to be gearing up to maybe get in line after Heavy Machinery.
Maybe Sanity might have a complete run of the titles at some point.
Or at least try it.
Well, let's play that first note then, because we had our last woman standing. WWE completing the trifecta, 3 major shows, all with female main events.
Yeah.
Gauntlet match on Raw, the Money in the Bank on SmackDown, and the last woman standing on NXT. And Asuka and Nikki Cross fucking killed it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we've progressively had less women in the main event of all these shows, and the matches have gotten better. They've just been more and more exciting. I mean...
Well, it goes to show you is that as far as keeping a match easy to watch, less is more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's when you don't... I mean, they did it well on Raw because they didn't have all the women in at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it was a gauntlet match. And then we got the chaos that was Money in the Bank on SmackDown, which was fine because, we can keep track of that. But then to really simplify it and just have straight one-on-one, same 2 women fighting it out for a championship was fantastic. I mean, both women taking spots onto piles of chairs.
Yeah.
The initial one being kind of a snapmare hip toss type of thing off the second rope. Nikki Cross crashing through the stack of chairs, followed up by a back suplex to Asuka.
Asuka got powerbombed onto a pile of chairs on the outside.
Right next to the stage, which was really rough. I mean, they didn't hold anything back. They were fighting all over the place, hitting. Nikki Cross ended up hitting
4 of the Fisherman Neckbreakers.
Yeah, which is her finisher, and she couldn't keep Asuka down. Asuka kept hitting things and thought for sure Nikki Cross was going to stay down. That wasn't happening. They fought up the stage. They kept trying to suplex each other off of the stage. Eventually, Asuka just did the jumping hip attack off the stage. Fought around the commentary table over there, which, by the way, we had our very first episode with Mauro Ranallo.
Yay!
Fantastic. So nice to hear him on the commentary. Him and Nigel should be the only two. Sorry, Percy.
I'm not.
I know you're not.
Fuck off, Percy. Oh, yeah.
You're an ass. And so then we kind of get almost a replay of what kind of led to this match. Was we get the table set up, and we're assuming we're going to get that big spot through that folding table. There was a ladder off stage that ended up getting set up, and Nikki is so set that she's going to jump off this ladder and crash through Asuka and just end it. So
doesn't quite happen that way.
No, because Asuka will not stay the fuck down. She ends up climbing up the other side of the ladder. And it's at this point that Percy, Morrow, and Nigel all realize the possibility and what was inevitability was going to happen at this point. Because the ladder is set up right next to the table. And so you've got the ladder here, and then you have the one table they set up is like off to the side. But right behind that ladder is the commentary table. And it didn't take long for Asuka to gain control and deliver a superplex through the commentary table. Asuka gets up just at the count of 10. Therefore, Asuka retains the NXT Women's Championship. Holy shit. Fantastic.
Great main event.
Absolutely. So let's follow that up with Group C of the Cueto Cup doing battle on Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
We actually open up with Katrina and Mil Muertes preparing for Mil's match. Katrina and Mil have obviously been an item for quite a while as far as the Lucha Underground roster is concerned. But we do know that
except for her Phoenix hiatus.
Well, girls got options. One of those options...
I bet Katrina has a lot of options.
Well...
I'm just saying.
Katrina, I would like to be an option. I'm just putting that out there. I don't want to fight Mil Muertes, but if I have to, I'll think about it. One of those options, though, that we found out towards the beginning of Season 3 was that somewhere over the course of her lifetime, and potentially his, that Katrina and Jeremiah Crane were a thing. And so we find out that Jeremiah Crane is very much like Marty was watching from the darkness last week. Jeremiah was doing the same thing and was not happy with the intimacy between Katrina and Mil Muertes.
No.
Mil Muertes was up first and completely destroyed Veneno. We were reminded who Veneno was. He didn't last a snowball's chance in hell. And I think this match was maybe a minute and a half.
I think a snowball had a better chance in hell.
Yeah, you're probably right. After just a major spinning choke slam, followed up quickly by the flatliner, Mil Muertes moves on to the second round of the Cueto Cup.
Veneno. Not Officer Reyes. Just Veneno. Spider Boy.
Speaking of Mil Muertes, we'll actually skip forward a little bit. Mil Muertes was back in his suit. He was ready to take off.
Get ready to play Reservoir Luchas.
Yeah, Reservoir Luchas. He's hanging out in the bathroom. You don't hang out in the bathroom in the temple. Bad things happen in the bathroom at the temple. Such as you're walking out, you get blasted in the face by a chair from Jeremiah Crane.
Yeah. And then, repeatedly hacked in the neck by a chair.
Yeah,
and then the chair gets placed over your flattened corpse, and then he hits it with another chair, and it makes a gross, fleshy, squelching noise.
I don't know if we had another head explosion here, or if it was like he went for the throat, or
probably the throat.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards, but it was hard to tell. There was a squelching sound, and Mil Muertes did not return. And that was all before Jeremiah's main event match. But we'll get there in a second. Our second match was Paul London versus the Undersnaker.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Vibora. Vibora having Cobra Moon at ringside. Paul London
Paul London tried to threaten Cobra Moon with the carrot.
That was hilarious. Especially because neither she nor the Undersnaker gave a fuck about the situation.
No, she was literally just like, Vibora.
You wanna...
Vibora.
Come on.
Come on, Vibora.
And yeah, it didn't last long. Paul London taking some gnarly shots, overshooting his trust fall dive.
Oh my god.
Was almost completely over Vibora's head and like crashed into some of the front row chairs.
This is where I'm going to say don't be entirely shocked if Vibora's mask changes at some point in the future. Because I kind of feel like maybe he just didn't have a good visual perception on where Paul London was for a catch.
I don't know, because it just seemed like Paul London jumped way high, because like Vibora tried to catch him, but he was like, he passed completely through the hands.
Yeah.
And so Vibora just kind of had to like go with it and fall. And yeah, and London crashed through a couple of chairs. He seemed to be fine though, because then they end up back in the ring, and we have the strangest distraction I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We had Mala Suerte and Saltador appear from under the ring, crisscross each other, and go back under the ring. And Vibora's like, what the hell was that? Like, what are you supposed to do in that point there? So the match falls back out to the outside. Referee's getting up there with the count. At about 7 or so, Paul London ends up getting back into the ring, but Vibora is unable to because both members of the Rabbit Tribe are under the ring grabbing his feet. So Paul London moves forward by countout.
Yeah, I mean, a win is a win, right?
Absolutely.
Especially when it's moving towards a Lucha Underground championship match.
Yeah, I mean...
And Ultima Lucha.
And, the referee didn't see the other two holding the legs.
Yeah. Good kudos to Checkers and Masker Cisco.
You're bad at this kayfabe game.
I'm sorry. I didn't say Masker Cisco, I said Mala Suerte.
I know you did. Moving on, our next match was Taya versus Joey Orion.
This, I mean, with the exception of, like, each episode's obvious super squashy match, like, out of all the competitive matches, this was probably the shortest one.
Definitely the shortest, but still entertaining because it is, I mean, they looked great. It was still a really good match despite how short it was. But... I don't know. They were telling an interesting story here with the fact that Joey Ryan is sleazy, but he's technically the good guy, and Taya is a bitch, but she's really good at what she does. And so it was very interesting watching kind of the switch back and forth of like who people were really going for in this match. And I mean, if you know Joey Ryan's track record of facing women on the indies. I mean, he's cheered for some of the stuff, but it's not exactly the most respectful thing that he does as far as indie wrestling is concerned. But yeah, great match nonetheless. Taya ends up hitting a bridging Northern Lights and then is able to back up and then hit a double stomp, and she moves forward over Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are filling up this second round real quick. So we'll move on to our main event.
Randy Orton's favorite match ever.
We have the Lucha Death Machine, Jeremiah Crane, taking on the weapon of masked destruction, Killshot.
Clever.
And if you know anything about Sami Callihan and Shane Strickland, you know these two...
Who?
I mean, what?
I never heard of those guys before.
Well, they look very similar to Killshot and Jeremiah Crane.
I only know who those guys are on Sundays.
Only on Sundays. Well, pretend it's Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Those guys have really good chemistry.
Yeah,
they wrestle each other all over the Midwest.
Fucking everywhere. A lot in CZW. I'm sure they faced off in like AIW and AAW and all kinds of places. And that showed in this very similar match between Killshot and Jeremiah Crane. Because, holy shit. This didn't seem like it was going to end.
No, and when it did, it was like... I mean... Albeit the way it ended was storyline driven.
Yeah, very, very much so.
It was just so... It felt very anticlimactic. For how... The fact that the match just was a steady increase in pace from the very beginning of both guys just never stopped.
Yeah, I think...
being aggressive with each other, and then we hit that moment and it was just like... It came to a dead stop right before the last move. Yeah,
because Killshot ended up hitting the kill stomp, and Jeremiah Crane kicked out. And so it's like, holy shit, Killshot just hit his finishing move, and Jeremiah Crane kicked out. Now what's going to happen? And so we had Killshot setting up for something. It looked like maybe like he was going for like a package pile driver or something. He was setting up for something. And then,
well, I think he was setting up to use that half Nelson waistlock slam thing that I think Dante Fox uses.
Yeah, which if that's what he was going for, that was perfect, because we hear Killshot's name be said, and we see that up in one of the many rafters where there are secret passageways in the temple, that Dante Fox is talking to Killshot, saying that the issues between the two of them are not done. And this was enough of a distraction for Jeremiah Crane to just hit a Tiger Driver and beat Killshot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very, very sudden end that definitely didn't fit the pace of the rest of the match.
Yeah, the rest of the match was just fantastical.
Yeah, I think... Had Dante Fox just gotten involved, I guess I'll give Lucha Underground credit where they're not trying to do the same type of finish. Yeah. So the fact that we already had the interference of Mala Suerte and Saltador, they didn't want to repeat that, so they just kind of had an outside distraction. Yeah. It was nice that they were trying to change it up, but yeah, it definitely felt completely separate from the rest of this high-intensity, high-impact match where they just fucking killed each other.
Yeah, and both guys were pretty much murdered.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Jeremiah Crane is moving forward in the tournament, and we have...
He'll fight Taya in the second round.
Oh, Jesus. Oh boy. Oh, boy.
Man, you gotta think how lucky Paul London is that his second round match is Mil Muertes.
Oh, God. Well, Mil Muertes might not even show up at this point.
No, he's just gonna go against the headless Mil Muertes.
He's gonna go against Katrina.
The headless Lucha.
Katrina was at the top of the stairs after a quick lights out, and had a very hot and heavy staring contest with Jeremiah Crane, who blew kisses while she held up the rock. Not Dwayne Johnson.
If you smell what Katrina's cooking.
Yeah.
I do.
So, we have our second round almost completely filled, and next week we have Bracket D.
Yeah. And this seems to be the bracket that Dario Cueto is the most excited about.
I mean, we do... You know what? Here, let me bring up the matches here, because we do have...
Oh, what, Prince Puma versus Ricky Mandel?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Sexy Star versus PJ Black.
Yeah, Dragon Azteca Jr. versus
Dante Fox, which will be fucking awesome. And then there was only one name left because we had a question mark.
Yeah.
We had Son of Havoc versus question mark. And so we had Dario going over these matches, and we had who we thought was Son of Havoc going, well, who am I going against? And we assume, okay, well, there's Son of Havoc. Boom, he's in there. What should I call you? And we went, what? what? The camera pans around to a much larger, but very, completely similarly dressed, with a giant beard, and the same voiceover thing, guy who is not Son of Havoc.
No.
He is known as Son of Madness, also from the Open Road. So next week we will have Son of Havoc versus Son of Madness. Okay.
Should be interesting. I mean, he is a tall, beardy individual.
Very hairy. He's got built-in sweater. He's got a scarf around his face, and it looks like Son of Havoc. Sort of.
Son of Havoc's a dad.
Oh, that'd be weird. I don't know, but that'll be next week on Lucha Underground. Thanks for watching, guys.
Right there,
I'm wondering what to expect.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm expecting Havoc.
I'm expecting madness.
Yeah. And Sons.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Click the links in the description.
There's a lot of links.
One of those links is a podcast.
Yeah, that's usually what I say after you say check out the podcast. So check out the podcast.
It's a link down in the description where you can hear all the videos that we've done this week in podcast form.
Yeah, really no special week add-on videos this week.
Nope, but there will be next week, because next week we'll have a top 5 for the month of June, and I believe we'll be having predictions for Great Balls of Fire.
You mean Fire Dick the pay-per-view.
Fire Dick the pay-per-view, my bad. Sorry I said it wrong. Also, check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
It's Reasonable to W.
Like Wrestling, where we have pay-per-view punishments, which we should be adding to very, very soon.
Yeah,
he will hopefully be eating a nasty pizza.
I would hope that it's not that bad.
Well, that's how this whole punishment thing works. Also, check out things like the Cocktail Hour, What Colt's Wondering, and Fantasy Warfare, amongst other videos. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next. Love the midweek wrap-up. By the way, I just want to state, I don't want to fuck Mojo Rawley. I know the last 2 videos might have made it seem that way. Just putting it out there. Not fucking Mojo Rawley. No sexual intercourse with Mojo Rawley at all.
Nope. He's saving it for Titus.
Fuck you.